The real problem of humanity is this. We have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology, said E.O. Wilson. What if the way out isn't more noise, but more nature? What if the most advanced thing we can do next is remember how to live with the rest of life? Picture a boy in Alabama, half blind from a fishing accident, holding a jar and a magnifying lens. While the big world blurred, tiny worlds came into focus. Ants building cities, farming fungus, communicating with chemicals like secret telegrams. That boy grew up, walked into Harvard with a net and a notebook, and spent a lifetime chasing small creatures to answer the largest questions. What makes us human? How do societies function? How do we keep this planet alive long enough to become our best selves? Edward Osborne Wilson became the Ant-Man, a soft-spoken revolutionary who could map a rainforest with a pencil and a compass, then sit down and write lines that shook entire disciplines. In 1975, he published Sociobiology, the new synthesis, and the room exploded. Literally, a protester once doused him with water at a conference. Wilson calmly wiped his glasses and kept speaking. He wasn't trying to reduce humanity to genes. He was trying to widen the frame. If evolution shaped ants, wolves, and whales, then of course it left fingerprints on a sour cooperation. Our rivalry, our parenting, our politics. Understand the roots, he argued, and you can grow better branches. Here's the first big idea: sociobiology. Behavior has deep evolutionary roots. That doesn't mean fate. It means tendencies, pressures, trade-offs like wind-shaping dunes. We inherit a landscape, but we still choose our path. Why do people join teams, sacrifice for strangers, or, on bad days, split the world into us and them? Because in the long history of survival, groups that coordinated tended to outlast groups that couldn't. The lesson isn't cynicism, it's strategy. If you want more cooperation, don't scold human nature designed for it. Make contributions visible so reputation can reward the generous. Create rituals that expand the circle of us. Build feedback loops that honor long-term trust over short-term wins. Wilson's point was not that biology dictates our destiny, but that ignoring biology is like ignoring gravity when you build a bridge. Second big idea: biophilia, the hypothesis that humans possess an innate affinity for living systems. You feel it when a window opens onto trees, when your brain unclenches near water, when birdsong makes your breath deepen without permission. That's not nostalgia, it's adaptation. For almost all of our history, reading the patterns of leaves and light was survival. Our nervous systems learned to calibrate against the living world. Wilson took that intuition and gave it language, then implications. Parks are not luxuries, they're public health. School gardens are not cute, they're cognitive infrastructure. A hospital room with a view of a grove is not a nice to have, it is measurable recovery time. If we want minds that can solve modern problems, we should house those minds in environments they were made to thrive in. Third big idea: half-Earth. Wilson believed we can save the majority of species in the order of 80+% by protecting roughly half the planet in connected networks of land and sea. Not a museum of nature kept under glass, but a living, breathing web where migration routes remain open. Rivers run clean, reefs get breathing room, and cities stitch themselves to green corridors. The math comes from species-area relationships. As the protected area increases, extinctions drop off steeply. Fragment life, and it falters. Connect it, and it rebounds with astonishing speed. Half-Earth is audacious, yes, but it is also pragmatic. It says, protect the operating system, and the apps are farms, our fisheries, our climate stability, our culture can keep running. So how do these ideas touch our lives now? Start with sociobiology in your everyday systems. Your team, your classroom, your family, they are social organisms. Incentives matter.
Our signals matter.
If you want collaboration, make it easy to see who helps whom. Celebrate reputation for generosity. Build norms that let people earn status by lifting others, not just themselves. And be careful with perverse incentives metrics that reward quick harvests and punish long stewardship. Will quietly train the tribe to do the wrong thing. Then bring biophilia into your design. If you run a company, replace one wall with a window and one carpet square with a living wall. Put a walking path under trees on your campus and move your one-on-ones there. If you teach, give every student a plant to care for and a patch of earth to watch through the seasons. If you plan a city block, treat shade as critical infrastructure, not decoration. You will notice it in attention spans, morale, creativity, and in fewer afternoons that feel like walking through syrup. And aim for half Earth locally. Do not control the whole planet, but you control your square mile. Map the fragments, the backyard, the vacant lot, the creek in a culvert. Connect them native plantings, pocket forests, pollinator strips on rooftops. A daylighted stream that threads a park to a river. Support a land trust. Advocate for wildlife crossings over highways. Choose seafood with recovery plans. Each connection is a pixel in a larger picture, a little door you open for life to move through. Hey, let's run a quick what if. What if, by 2035, we connected every major reserve with corridors you can see from space threads of green and blue, stitched by satellites and local stewardship? What if coastal nations guarded reef networks the way they guard airports' shared protocols, interoperable enforcement, blue bonds financing recovery? What if cities pledged 30% native canopy by 2040 and school districts swapped one standardized test for one standardized bioblitz, so a generation graduates fluent in the names and needs of their home biome? By 2050, your summer feels cooler under trees. Your street floods less after storms. Your grocery shelves don't empty when a single pest mutates. Because wild relatives have already donated resilience to our crops. Your child can name 10 local species, not just 10 apps. The future didn't get less technological, it got more ecological. Wilson wasn't a zealot of genes. He refined his own views over time. He wrestled with how altruism evolves. He debated group selection. He followed the math where it led. But he never lost the bigger dream he called consilience. The jumping together of knowledge, biology meeting, psychology meeting, economics meeting, ethics, and the arts. You don't save a forest with ecology alone. You need law, finance, culture, and story. You need ranchers and poets and coders and mayors in the same room, arguing and building something larger than any one field can imagine. Here's a picture to keep. A river that once was a sewer, now running clear to summers after the city tore up the concrete covering it. Herons return. Kids lean over railings to count minnows. A cafe opens at the bend. A hardware store paints its brick. The afternoon heat drops by 2 degrees because the water carries the sky through the neighborhood. Nothing about this is hypothetical. When we give life a corridor, life shows up. The greatest danger to our future is apathy, Wilson warned. Apathy is not a feeling. To practice 1,000 small decisions to look away. So practice the opposite. Tonight, adopt 1 square meter a balcony box, a curb strip, a scrap of soil. Plant 3 native species. Photograph that patch every month and pay attention to who arrives. Swap 1 scroll for 1 stroll. 10 minutes outside, no headphones. Let your nervous system recalibrate to wind and light. Back a local corridor with $5 a month. Change 1 meeting room, more daylight, 1 living wall, a view of weather so your team can remember they work on a planet, not just a platform. Learn 5 birds and 5 plants where you live. Knowing their names is not triviate, is relationship. When E.O. Wilson died in 2021, colleagues described him as endlessly curious, endlessly generous. He didn't save the world. He showed us a way to try. Start small, think long, connect everything. Spent a lifetime kneeling in the leaf litter, following an ant trail until it disappeared into the soil. That posture, the humility to get close, the patience to watch, the courage to ask big questions about tiny things is the posture of wisdom. If this sparked something in you, act while it's warm. Share this story with one person who designs, leads, or teaches. Tell me the wild place that shaped why, want to read it. And then step outside, meet your square meter, and begin. Half Earth can start right here, under your feet.